Welcome back to Soaring High Marketing Podcast. This is the show Marketing Mondays. Here's where we talk about marketing, advertising, promotion, sales, entrepreneurship, kingdom mindset. We talk about mindset, framework, strategy, everything to help you guys grow your businesses. Doesn't matter if you're a med spa, if you're a contractor, roofer, dentist, chiropractor, insurance agent, restaurant owner, you name it. We're here to help you guys grow your business through marketing and advertising. So I have an exciting episode planned for you guys to go ahead and give you guys value. This is one concept. This is one topic that I love to talk about, which is marketing. I've been in the marketing space now for 15 years. Got started with my brother coming out of high school. And I've been with him ever since. And I've done a bunch of other things in between that. But at heart, I've always been a marketer. I've gotten my real estate license. I've, gotten into real estate. I've done forex trading, cryptocurrency, just doing so many things, just trying to find yourself, see exactly what you're good at, what you're passionate about. But at the end of the day, all those different services, all those different like businesses, all those different ideas out there come back and it comes back to the main thing, which is marketing is key to grow your business. Doesn't matter what business you're in. I always say you're always going to be in two businesses. You're going to be in your primary business, in your primary industry, but you're also going to be in the marketing business because marketing at the end of the day is about getting attention and it's about lead generation. It's about getting leads. How do we fill the top of the funnel? How do we create a pipeline of prospects, of leads to reach out to that are interested in our services in order for us to go ahead and convert that? That's the second skill you got to have is that the sales is about lead conversion. You've got to be able to monetize the leads that we're generating for you and turn that into a sale. But today, I want to dive in deeper into the concept of marketing. And there's the two forms that I've kind of have come to learn that there's two forms of marketing. Marketing isn't just one thing that you do, is a series of things that you do to achieve a desired outcome. Because when you break it down, I say there's two main forms of marketing. It's simple. There's inbound marketing and there's outbound marketing. Inbound marketing is where people are reaching out to you. People are calling you, inquiring about your services and how you can help them in whatever field that you're in. They saw your ad, they saw your content. They got a voicemail, they got an email, they got a postcard in the mail, they got a flyer. I'm gonna talk about different within inbound and outbound. There's different layers to it. Like anything in life, there's different levels to this. So inbound is that people are calling you, which is a little harder to really mass produce when you're first starting out. And then there's outbound marketing. Outbound is that you've got to put output, you got to outflow, you've got to go ahead and put time, effort, energy into it because it comes down to this marketing in general, marketing to grow your business, marketing to be seen in the marketplace, especially with today's economy is, the wars that we're hearing, AI disruption in different industries. We're all worried about, is AI going to replace us? Is AI going to take over? Where's this world going to? All of this is outside noise and just distractions. You have to focus on you, focus on your business, focus on growing it. This year's going to be, I'm saying it, I'm taking it as it's a pivotal year for you to grow your business. If we do not focus, lock in, and go all in on our business, and that's going to require an investment. That's going to require a commitment. I say, I learned from my mentor that commitments in life require two things. It requires time and it requires money. If you do not put time and money behind your commitments, that means that you're not committed. Because if you pay, you're going to pay attention. And if you put time into it, you've got to see how this can work for you. So I know I'm going fast just because I have so much to dive into, so much I want to share with you guys. But I want us to keep us focused on the marketing. Now, there's two forms of marketing, inbound and outbound. And these two things require a commitment. You have to commit to the marketing game. You have to commit to being seen, to being heard, to being visible, to breaking through obscurity. Because that's the biggest problem for business owners is that people don't know who you are, what you do, what you offer, how can you help them. That's the biggest problem that why business owners fail is because it's obscurity. We're not able to reach enough prospects, enough leads. We're not able to convert a high enough with margins to actually make money in our business. So we're just trying to rely on referrals, on word of mouth. We're trying to do a little bit of, social media content now. We do a video, we try to post an image on there, and we call that marketing, but that is not marketing. There's that services that fall within the marketing, but marketing has to be preceded by a strategy. The strategy is what's going to dictate what type of marketing, what type of content, what type of post, how much of it, how much do you spend, how much do you invest into the business, into the marketing. So you have to commit to the marketing game. You can't quit. A lot of business owners that I work with, we start the campaigns, we get it running, we get it, you know, set up, and it's going to take time. That's the thing that business owners don't want to come to terms with, is that marketing takes time. And yes, I know, because it feels like you're burning money, money's getting, spent and wasted, but that's because you're going into it blindly. You're trying to do it yourself. You're trying to just set up the campaigns, and you don't know all the different back end that it entails. You don't have a follow-up system. You don't have a sales process. You don't have all these different things that it requires to run a successful campaign. You're not visible online. Your website sucks. It's not optimized for SEO. And now for AI search, you're not spending enough. That's one other thing I've seen from business owners, is that they spend just enough or invest just enough into marketing to say that they tried it, but not enough to actually get results. Meaning that they want to start with a very low budget, and when we get results, then we'll increase the budget. But it doesn't work like that. You have to come, especially in today's marketplace where there's so much, you know, um, noise, there's so much other competitors, there's so many people now on the platforms, that your competitors are probably winning and doing better than you because they're outspending you. He who markets the most, pays the most, wins the most. He who spends the most into the marketing is going to win the most. That's why you see all these big companies out there, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, Subway, Allstate, State Farm, all these different businesses out there, all these different companies out there, that you would think, yeah, they made it already. They're $1 billion, and they're already generating enough revenue to feed, multiple lifetimes. But no, 'cause they know that they gotta stay relevant. They gotta stay top of mind. And then you say, oh no, but I don't know how that, I'm not at that level. I'm not that big of a business. And you're never gonna be if you do not commit to the marketing. If you do not commit to the marketing, you're never gonna get to that level. If you're not willing to invest into your business, to invest to being seen, to being heard, to expanding further than just your local area, or your current clients, just relying on referrals. If you're just comfortable and complacent and comfortable being small, then you're never going to get to those massive levels, because it's going to require an investment. It's going to require that you put money back into the business. But first, your business needs to make money in order for you to put money back into it. And that's the thing. It's a cycle. Marketing is a cycle. There's a business cycle. There's a sales cycle. And that money has to flow. So it's called cash flow. Money's got to be flowing in and out. So rewind. Let's start. Let's reset. So when you break it down, there's two forms of marketing. There's inbound and there's outbound. So the question is, which one should you focus on? And before you ask which one should you focus on, the next question to that is, it depends on one thing. What do you have more of right now? Time or money? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Yes, I want to market my business well. Yes, I want to get seen. Yes, I want more clients. Yes, I'm tired of being stuck, making six figures. I'm tired of, hitting, making only $1 million a year, making $5 million a year. And if you got to those levels, congrats. But you know that there's more. You got more potential, because you got into business because you have a great service, you got a great product, you got a great reputation, you deliver good results for your clients, and you know that you're capable of more, for more. You've got the potential to really grow and scale and have a big business, have a big company, if you were so choose to simply commit to the marketing game, to getting attention, and not being fearful of the platforms and the different channels, or because this is what the young kids are doing. And now with AI, you haven't mastered the basics of marketing. You don't post on social media because everything wants to be private. And then you want to say, oh no, AI now, I gotta learn about this, and this is gonna replace my business, my industry, it's gonna disrupt everything. When you haven't even mastered the basics when it comes to marketing. It's like you have no online presence, you got no website, you don't post on social, and you want to go rush into AI because you think AI is gonna save you. No, AI is just going to accelerate those that know how to use it, that have already built a foundation, an audience, that already know how to generate but convert leads, that have systems and processes on the back end to be able to monetize for what AI can do. So AI isn't the solution. It isn't the answer. It isn't. It's just simply a tool within the marketing system that we love to implement within businesses. That it just integrates with everything else that comes with it. So AI isn't just going to be one thing that okay, it's just going to program it because they need to know exactly what is good copy, what are good hooks, what's viral, what's the messaging, what is your current client avatar, who do you service, who do you want to service? The same thing most of the time is that we're um under leverage, under optimized, that we're tired of working with the clients that we currently have, but we're not in a position to be able to scale from them because we're dependent on them. And that's why you need to market, that's why you need to advertise. So you do not stay dependent on one vertical, on one vehicle, on one audience, on your current clients. You're able to expand and grow from there. So it's not just relying on this one little group of set of people and you're just trying to squeeze everything that you can out of them. No, you've got to grow, you've got to expand. And that's why I say this year is going to be pivotal into the growth of your business because this is a trying time for a lot of people. Gas prices are up, inflation's up, home prices are up, interest rates are up, everything seems to be going up except your income, except the growth of your business. You grew fast out of the gates, but then it slowed down, and you just kind of been plateauing. But due to inflation, if you actually been plateauing, you're actually declining because the value of the dollar is going down. So unless you're invested into real estate, crypto, you know, gold, then yeah, you can see some type of appreciation. But that's why you have to commit. You've got to invest into this. It's no longer an option. It's not optional. It's a necessity because it can lead to your survival. If not, close up shop and just say that you're out of business. I've dealt with many business owners I've seen open their business. They invested so much just to open it, but they didn't have enough funds, enough capital to be able to invest to stay open. They open the business, they have a grand opening, they invest into equipment, into staff, into people, into the grand opening promotion. That's when we all like to market for the grand opening. We need people to show up, but then they don't have enough to keep the doors open, to keep the lights on. They don't want to invest because now money's tight, nothing's coming in, but they didn't plan out accordingly that they need to have capital. I always say you have to have at least a good 3 to 6 months of reserves in order to be able to really go full throttle with our marketing system. Because yes, it is going to take time. I know you guys don't like to hear it. I don't, I love to come on here and sell you the dream that it's going to work overnight, but that's just not the case. I'm not here to sell you a false dream because I know it does take time. It's just like if you were to go to the gym tomorrow, your trainer tells you you're going to lose 10 pounds with one workout session, they'll be doing you a disservice. And this is why a lot of business owners get burned with marketing agencies because what work for one business, even though you may be in the same area, market, the same industry, provide similar services, what work for them may not work for you. That's why we like to build custom proposals or strategies for our clients because everybody is on a different level, on a different spectrum of the wavelength. So going back, resetting, marketing, there's inbound and there's outbound. What do you have more of right now? Time or money? So before you start marketing, you need to understand this. Marketing requires commitment. That's why I said you got to have that at least 3 to 6 month reserves. Because remember, first month we're getting things set up, we're getting things off the ground, we're breaking finally, out of obscurity into the marketplace. But that takes time. The algorithm takes time to really hone in on who your ideal audience is, your avatar. It takes time for your content to be in the marketplace, your ads to be in the marketplace, to get seen over and over again before a client decides to make a decision to purchase your services. Because again, when you start marketing and advertising, you're going to cold traffic. And it takes time for the algorithms, the platforms to find your ideal audience. Yes, we run targeted audiences, targeted campaigns, but again, it needs to resonate with them. That's why we got to create volume of ads and creatives and content. So that way, once they do come across you, then they're able to spend time within your content in order for them to really, that content to build you as an authority, build trust with them, be able to resonate with them, and see you as a go-to person for that service in your marketplace. So when you talk about marketing, there's just so many different things that are associated with it that it's not just one thing that's gonna blow you up. You're gonna have these one-hit wonders, yeah, that go viral overnight, but you got to go back and see what did they go viral for? Was it just out of stupidity and dumb things that can't now be replicated? It can't be duplicated, or is it because they actually have a sound marketing growth system behind what it is that they're doing, and do they have the right strategy in place in order to build that growth system for their business? So, just like I say, it requires a commitment. Just like if you're going to the gym, or you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to get in shape. You have to spend time in the gym. You got to spend time working out, whatever that may be, and you got to spend money for the gym membership, for the trainer, for the food, for the nutrition, for the clothes, the equipment, whatever route you're taking in order to get in shape and fit and healthy. Then obviously there's going to come with that time and money commitment attached to it. Unless you're gonna try to do 100 push-ups a day and fast and not eat and not sustain yourself and try to do it all without spending money and with little time and effort into it, it's not going to work out for you. It's not, you could try and take a quick diet pill, get a quick surgery to kind of shortcut the process, but you can't. You cannot shortcut the things that truly matter in this life, and in business. So I want to break it down the two forms of marketing. The first one is for business owners that say, I don't have enough to invest into a program, into a system. I don't have $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to invest into marketing. Where can I get started? Because the thing is that just because you don't have enough for a particular system or particular service or to work with a particular agency, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still be marketing into some capacity. You have to market at the level, at the investment capital level that you're at. Whether it is, simply 500, 1,000, 1,500, we got to see exactly what can we fit and what will be the best use of that money. Now you're gonna go try to spend that onto Google Ads tomorrow when you have no website, you got no landing pages, you've got no content, you've got no CRM set up with automations. You take forever to call back leads. So again, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot either by trying to spend too much too fast and then not be able to convert that. So the name of the game is that we got to generate the leads, but we have to have a system that we can capture it, we can nurture it, and then we can monetize it, because you can generate all the leads in the world, but if you don't have a sales process, you can't close the business, then no money's coming in. Money's only going to be going out. We need money come in and out, but we need to get more in than what we put out. That's when people look at ROAS, CAC, cost per acquisition cost per leads, cost per booked appointments. That's when they like to look at those fancy stats because obviously you put $1 into the platform, you want to at least get minimum $3 back. And if you can scale that to 4, 5, 8, 10, $20 back, then obviously you're going to be in the green, you can be in the positive in order to keep reinvesting back into the business. So let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you, if this is hitting home, if this is, helping to wake you guys up, if it's helping you guys, okay, see, I need to get marketing. I need to, promote my business. I need to get on there. You may not need to know everything, but you just have to be committed, and the commitment is going to lead to creativity and it's going to lead to activity because this is what outbound marketing is about. Outbound marketing is about time. You got to have activity, massive levels of activity to be producing. Example, this is when you go out and you find a customer. So outbound marketing is about activity, it's about active marketing. You're not sitting back waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for calls to come in. No, you're actively out there hunting, trying to get business, trying to find clients. That's when old school style is cold calling. Cold calling is a form of marketing because you're letting people know who you are, what you do, and you're just trying to shortcut because all forms of marketing, especially the inbound, is you're waiting for calls to come in. This is where you be more proactive that I'm going to generate their call. I'm going to do the reach out. I'm going to, make contact with somebody. Then let them know who I am in my marketplace. This is what we do. We have specials, promotions. How can we work together? What can I do for you today? So you can do a lot of it's going to be doing maybe cold calling, cold emails, getting a list of people that you want to work with, send them a cold email. You can do cold text blast. You can do ringless voice drops. You can do cold DMs. Again, that's going to take time to set some of these platforms up. It takes time for you to craft the message, send it out. Of course, now with AI and automations, and obviously we can try to, go more massive, go more mass face, mass emails, mass text, mass voice drops. But again, it's gonna take time and a little bit of investment into some of these services and platforms for you to be able to do the outbound marketing, outbound, you know, outreach, outreach, your outflow. So, you can do door knocking, especially if you're in solar and roofing, if you're a contractor, any type of home service-based business, door knocking is going to be great. Because again, especially if you're doing one or two houses in a certain neighborhood, it's easy for you to go knock door to door to say, "Hey, look, I'm just working at your neighbor's house. What can I do for you? We can give you a free roof check. We can do a free estimate, to get your new AC or doing kitchen remodeling, whatever it is that that your services works well with real estate agents, real estate investors too. If you're flipping one house in the neighborhood, if you got one house for sale, then again, you just hit the neighbors and trying to see who wants to raise their hand and say, look, I want to know what my house is worth. What can I sell my property for? Can I sell it for X amount? So again, you got to leverage. The great thing is that when you have clients, you have deals, is then you got to leverage that so it produces you more deals. You do it by, getting reviews, getting referrals, getting testimonials, and then using that client story to then be able to tell other stories to find people with your content, with your ads. And again, maybe I'm getting too deep, too fast, but I'm just throwing a lot at you just because, like I said, I'm very passionate about it. So I usually prepare, a little rundown, quick notes, but, sometimes I just get going and I can't stop. So please bear with me. If you guys are enjoying the content, drop it in the comment section. Let me know what's hitting home for you. Let me know what business, where you're watching, where you're tuning in from. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe as well. And definitely share it with any business owner in your local market. My agency is ready to expand. We're trying to see if we can go nationwide. I think it's time, because we're just trying to see how many people that we can help. So quick plug to help promote my stuff, but back to the show. There's different networking events that you can do. There's the old school methods of flyer distribution, sending out direct mail, door hangers. That's kind of how we started our agency here at Soaring High Marketing, was an old school guerrilla style, aggressive marketing with door to door, B2B, flyer distribution, putting up cars in shopping centers, houses, apartments, you know, doing that old school type of grinding that still works. Certain, industries, it still works. It's still very effective, especially if you're promoting any type of specials, any type of events for your business to attract clients. It, it's a great way because you're letting the local area, local community know that something is going on. So if you're a home service-based business, roofers, contractors, pool contractors, if you do any type of painting or pressure cleaning, pressure washing, pool cleaning, pool services, those, doing door-to-door flyer distribution still works. It's still effective. Again, this is giving you different things to consider of what can you do in your business to grow and scale. If you want more help diving into your business, let's schedule a free discovery call that we can kind of analyze your business, see what you're at, and maybe see, what's the best avenue where you're at, what's the best method that we can capitalize on. Speaking with a restaurant owner, restaurant manager for a pretty big chain here in South Florida. And yeah, he wants to grow and scale, but I guess right now with being corporate, he's limited right now with funds. They only give him a certain amount, to work with per month. He's kind of diversify and kind of see what can he do. He may just have to only be able to do flyer distribution right now. But the idea is that you're always going to be growing and adding on to it, because you can do flyer distribution is great. You got to combine the flyer distribution with the type of digital campaign. We can do local Facebook geo targeting. We can do Google local search ads where we can then highlight and target specific neighborhoods, zip codes, cities, to then go ahead and reinforce that flyer distribution campaign. Because if they're seeing your flyer on your door, when they come home, they pull on your flyer, they maybe do a quick glance, and then maybe they look you up online. They look you up, like I mentioned last week, search everywhere. They just search AI, they just search Google, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So you want to make sure you have the content there on those different platforms that they resonate with them. And then once they resonate with your content, then we have on the back end with retargeting ads. So we do like lead gen ads on the front end, and then do retargeting. So again, this is all a system. That's what I'm saying. Marketing is not just one service; it's a system because it all has to work together. It all has to connect. It all has to make sense. That's why we start with strategy, and then we start with the system to go ahead and make sure we capitalize every angle, every which way that we possibly can. So when it comes to outbound marketing is about outflow, about output, it's about activity. It's active marketing, actively going to the marketplace and trying to find your ideal customers. Going to networking events, chamber of commerce, BNI, doing referral marketing, trying to land referral partners, affiliates. These are all different marketing channels that you can do that you can implement into your business. So you're creating activity to generate opportunities. The activity level that you put out is what's going to help you create activities to promote your business. So we'll get to inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is when customers find you. For example, if you're running local SEO, with your backlinks, your articles, your blogs, people reach out to you, they fill out your website form. There's obviously Google ads, Facebook ads that you're running to generate leads to come in, for them to call, book an appointment, inquire about your services. There's organic social media content. You're posting on different platforms. You're having strong hooks, providing value, and having good call to actions. So people comment below, or they DM you, or they look you up, or they search for you. There's also, website traffic, getting it organically, getting it multiple. So it's creating content on all the different platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Threads, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You starting off, you gotta find maybe one or two platforms so you can really go all in on. And as you start building and getting comfortable with the content creation, then you start diversifying onto other platforms as well. So sometimes you gotta go all in on one thing just to make it work until it works. Then we start adding different layers on top of it. We're gonna have to start first with the right foundation and then build upon that foundation. So this is, of course, when you're running ads, then there's different type of ads you can run. You can maybe, if you have good content online, so you maybe drive ads to get views for your video, because then your video converts. You can do different what's called like lead magnet. When you're trying to exchange information for something that your customer, your prospect, your lead sees a value. Describing their problem, a solution to it. There's so many different ads, that we can run that you can get into the nitty-gritty of it all, but I'm just throwing out just different ideas that we can kind of, again, get a big picture that marketing isn't complex, it's just very vast, and there's so many different components and elements to it. But again, you got to find one or two channels that work, and you got to find one or two channels, and then you got to keep doing it until it works, until you make it work. Once it starts working, you double down, you reinvest more into it, and then you start expanding to um, other channels and other forms. Like going back real quick, we're talking about flyer distribution. Even for flyer distribution, you want to have a good 3 to 6 month budget for it, because people got to see your flyer over and over and over again with different call to action, different promotions, different offers, different incentives for them to reach out. If you just do it once for one area once, and then you move on to another area, people need to see your time, need to see you over and over again. So your content, your marketing needs time in the marketplace. People got to see you over and over and over again. That's when you can't rush it. You can get desperate. Your content, your marketing, your ads need time in the marketplace. That way you can know what works, what doesn't. You gather data, metrics behind it, analytics, and then you analyze it. so you can optimize it. But it has to be in the platform so the algorithm can start showing it to more people or the right people, and then you're able to filter out and see what's working, what's not, and then we optimize. But your marketing does need time in the actual marketplace. So inbound marketing is more about attraction base. How do we attract the right clients, you know, to enter our funnel? And then how do we have the right process in place to make them go down funnel until they actually convert? But this is when people come to you because your marketing is working. You're getting in front of the right people. People are booking appointments. People are calling directly. People are finding you online. They're seeing the reviews. So inbound is about people coming to you, but that's going to require more investment in money to be able to get results like that and come in. So outbound is about time based. Inbound is about more money based. So that's why I said the question is, which one should you do first? It all depends on what do you have more of right now. Because either you got to do it or somebody on your team or a sales team that you have, they have to be the ones to pick up the phone and call, do the outreach, send the DM, send the emails, send out the flyers, put the flyers on the door, or you're gonna have the money to then go ahead and invest into ads, into landing pages, funnels, CRM, automations, AI receptionist, so you gotta gauge and see, okay, what do I have more of right now, and what am I willing to trade for it? Because there's always gonna be a trade-off. Or you gotta be willing to give up what you have now for what you want. You gotta be willing to give up where you're at now in order to get to the place that you want to get to. There's always gonna be a trade-off. There's always gonna be an investment. There's always gonna be something you're gonna back up with it. So, you gotta see where are you right now in the business cycle? Where are you right now with your business? Because if you're not where you want to be making, you're not where you want to be at, you're not making what you want to be making, then you gotta lean in, put more fuel to the fire, add more wood to the fire, and say, okay, how can we grow this? How can we accelerate this? How can we break that next break point, the next barrier? How do I cross if I'm at 6 figures? How do I cross the 7 figures? If I'm at 7 figures, if I'm at 1 million, how do I double it? How do I triple it? How do I go from 1 million to 5 million, from 5 to 8, 8 to 15? How do I get this, to 50 to 100 million until you get to like a big enough number that you can sell it, exit, and retire and live your life? But the game is okay. What's next? What's next? What's the next level? And how do I get there? There's a gap from where you're at right now to where you want to get to. There's a gap. How do we fill that gap? And how do we shorten that gap so we bring in where you're at and where you want to be closer? And that gap is going to determine marketing, advertising, strategy, the investment that you have to put into it. Gotta shorten the gap. How do you shorten it? By investing into that gap. Okay, what do I need to learn more of? What do I need to do more of? Who do I need to hire? Who do I need to get in contact with? Who do I need to bring on board onto the team? It's not so much always how, it's who do I need to get connected with? Who can help me? Who can help me get to where I want to get to in life and in my business? Someone told me this once, do what you do best and kind of check out for the rest. I'll say it again. Do what you do best and kind of check out for the rest. Business owners, we try to cut corners, we try to shortcut it, we try to do everything ourselves because no one can do it like us. We want to wear all the different hats in the business. But the only way that we can really build, grow, and scale is by hiring others. So we got to be in a position that we have, enough to be able to pay people. We got to be good enough that we're able to attract better people and better talent. And then, owners always say, oh no, it's hard to find good people. It's hard to, recruit. It's hard to hire. Gonna train them, gonna prepare them, gotta get them, you know, equip them. And that takes so much time. So I'm just doing it right now. So you think that you're saving yourself money, but you're just misusing your time on other things that you could be doing that's going to be able to help you move the business forward. You're there online right now trying to learn, how do I market? How do I run YouTube ads? How do I run Google ads? How do I run Facebook ads? How do I create a funnel? How do I optimize my CRM? How do I set up a campaign? All those different things that we can already do for you, that we're equipped for. We can just that's the way you can shortcut it. Mentor said you can either grow through the pain and grow through the process, or you can buy through the process, buy through the growing pains by just handing over the card, running a check, and basically being able to, in our scenario, partner yourself with the right marketing agency that's going to help you get to where you want to get to in your business. So, it depends on what do you have more right now, time or money. If you have more time than money, then focus on outbound because outbound, for the most part, costs less, but you're going to need more time. It requires more effort, energy, skills, and persistence. You got to be willing to follow up, keep persisting, keep reaching out. You got to have the skill set to then communicate with people, communicate your message, be able to, lead them through a sales process, be able to get them to convert, get them to, agree with you, see, to build up value so that they're willing to trade their money for your service, be able to distinguish yourself from your competitors in the marketplace, be able to separate yourself so that you're able to charge, what you got to charge to make a profit, to have margins in your business. Because outbound, you're going to have to prospect, you have to follow up, you have to track the activity, keep numbers, keep stats, so you can be optimizing that. And you got to stay relentless in it, because it's all about the activity that you got to be producing, the amount of reps, volume of reps that you got to have. So, but if you have more money than time, then you can focus on inbound marketing because inbound lets you accelerate visibility and attracts faster leads, but it does require, having a budget in place, patience in the process, systems to not only generate leads, but to nurture and convert them and then retain them. And it requires consistency. You got to always be having the campaigns running, optimizing everything, being able to do month in and month out, be able to keep investing and keep growing. So if you don't have money, you need activity. And if you don't have time, you need budget. So it comes down to what do you have now? You have capital, you have budget, or do you have to rely on activity? Budget or activity? Depends on what side of the coin, what side are you on? So most business owners, I know they get frustrated with inbound marketing because, most business owners, they start one campaign and they already expect results tomorrow. And that's a huge mistake, especially, if your website is weak, not optimized properly, you have no landing pages, you have no CRM, you have no follow-up system, your content is inconsistent. You post 3 times today and then you ghost the platform for a week. Then you post one time every other day at random times, you know, and you don't have a clear offer that people can connect with, resonate with, and, want to exchange with you and transact with you. So inbound marketing does take time because platforms need time to learn who you are, what you do, who you're trying to target, who are you best served for, needs time to optimize. You got to be always optimizing the strategy, optimizing the campaigns within the strategy. You got to find the right audience. You got to gather data, and it takes time to build momentum. That's what I'm saying. The first month, you're getting things set up. Second month, you're getting things into the marketplace. You're getting testing, A and B testing. You're collecting data. You're trying to see exactly what's working, what's not. And then month 3 on, you're have data to review and analyze. You have, the data, the metrics, the analytics, the numbers. And then from there, then you're able to optimize it, improve on it. And then that's how you start building momentum from 3 months on. So that's why I'm saying you have to have that budget because you got to have something to cover yourself while we're in that learning and growing stage. And eventually, marketing is going to go to a level that eventually it will pay for itself. But as long as you stay committed to the marketing, stay committed and trust the process and don't try to board early that you should. If you stay committed, stay in it, you're going to get the results on the other side. But most business owners cut it short because the campaigns don't work right away because they're hearing all these different, media or gurus out there on social that, I turn one ad on and I got, 125 leads, I got, 45K month, I'm growing and scaling, but they don't tell you, what they put into it, what system they have behind it, what creative they got, how long were they already actively running campaigns, running the marketing, producing content. That stuff we don't see on the back end. So, we're easy to say, okay, this guy just came on to the scene, came onto the platform, and boom, he became a success overnight. So he became, like I said, a quick timeline, month two is set up and launch. Month one is set up and launch. Month two is early feedback and data gathering. Month three, we're optimizing and building momentum. So then month 4 to 6, that's where we really see the real compounding results generating. Now the SEO starts working. Now more people are calling organically. We're ranking higher on our keywords in Google. Our ads are having better targeting. We're doing better creatives. We're defining better our messaging, our offers. We have systems in the back end that we're able to, okay, understand how the lead flow works, what type of content, what type of email, what type of text we got to send out after that lead comes in. How fast are we responding, once the lead enters or clicks on our ad? These are all different things that you got to look at, because I say impatience is a silent killer of marketing. Your impatience, your desperation of I need this campaign to work now. I need it to produce results. And I told you this 6 months ago. If we would have started 6 months ago, we wouldn't be in this place right now. Right now we'll be in that momentum stage. But because you delayed it, you put it off, you weren't ready, or whatever excuse you came up with at that time, then you got to rush to it, and then you want this produced overnight. And that's why when business owners tell me, "Oh no, I'm busy right now. I'm booked until from now until September. I don't need no marketing. I already have a full calendar. I can't take any more business," is the wrong thing to think, because this is the time that you got to invest more into marketing, because now you're in the service seat. Now you're in control. You never know what potential client is out there that needs your service now, that's researching now, that's looking competitors now, that's comparing one or two companies, and they come across you and they want to work with you because they see you as an authority in the space, but then you put them off because you weren't ready for it or you're too busy right now. The time that you're busier is the best time, because then the lead comes in and you're able to pick and choose who you want to work with. Now you're not relying upon clients and what they can pay, what they can afford. Situations like that, it's even better, because then you can actually charge more. And if they go for it, you just made some more money on top, because now they see the value and okay, I want to work with this guy, I want to work with you. Here, what's it gonna cost? Here it is. That's the type of clients you want to get to. That's the type of clientele you want to reach, you want to attract, is that no questions asked. They're not looking for discounts or a bargain. They're not looking to haggle you on price and beat you over with it. They understand what you do, what you offer, and it makes sense that, okay, what you're charging is fair to them. All right, boom, here's my card. Let's go. Solve this problem for me. Because the number one reason why people buy is because they want to solve a problem. If you're able to solve problems, you're going to get paid. So that's what we need to redefine with our messaging, with our offers is, does this offer resonate with my client, with my prospect, with my lead, in order that they see value in it and they want to go ahead and take it and exchange and transact with me. So when you're the busiest time, the best time to market is when you're the busiest, because now you're in the driver's seat, because now you can pick and choose your clients. You can refer that to other people within your space, maybe for a referral fee. You're then able to then, position yourself at even more grander style. And lo and behold, it may be time that you guys start expanding. You start buying more equipment, opening a different location or entering a different marketplace, hiring more people, expanding, the business. So you may be now heading into that expansion. You're ready to scale, you're ready to grow bigger, and it's going to require more manpower. It's going to require more capital, to equipment, people, training, staff, operations. So the best time to market is when you're too busy, not when you need the marketing to work, is when you don't need it to work, because then you're, again, not impatient, not desperate, not rushing to see results, because by then you being impatient, then you're going to kill the campaign, you're going to turn it off, shut it off, and it's going to be like the story of 3 feet from gold. You gave up, right? You put all this time, money, effort into it, but as soon as things became just too hard, just a little too hard for you to just bear, one more day, one more campaign, one more post, then you back out and you give up 3 feet from gold. there's a story about that during the gold rush. Gold diggers were there trying to, hit it big, find the gold. And, right before the gold digger got in there, he basically gave up, sold everything he had, was in debt. And lo and behold, someone else came. And because they saw, specialized knowledge, people that knew about, floor plans and architectural stuff, he was able to then go ahead and partner with somebody and they were able to strike gold. So don't give up when you're 3 feet from gold. Don't let impatience be able to kill your marketing campaigns. So outbound marketing is skill based. How your phone skills, your sales skills, your face to face with people. So outbound can work faster, but it does require stronger skills because outbound is not passive. Outbound is active. Inbound is passive. You're waiting for people to call you, see your ad, see your content, respond, connect, reach out. So outbound can be faster. You can get to the money faster because you bypassing all that stuff of you waiting to get in front of your ideal audience. You're going straight to them. Here's a phone. Here's my email. Here's a text. Whatever the case is, you're doing face to face at a networking event. So it depends on your messaging, your sales skills, your follow up, consistency, and your ability to handle rejection. So to tie all this together, marketing gets the lead, but sales converts the lead. Marketing is about lead generation. Sales is about lead conversion. You gotta have the skills to close the deals. So the two highest income skills in business are marketing and sales. That's one brings in the leads, and then one closes and sells the leads. So when you work together with this, yeah, that's the 1-2 punch. So marketing, getting attention, lead generation, getting in front of the right people, the right audience, and then sales is presenting, handling objections, negotiating, closing the deal, converting that lead to actual revenue for your business. So a business can generate we can generate all the leads we want from the business, but if they still struggle with conversion, with sales, then they're not going to convert. Then that means that all the marketing didn't work, the ads didn't work, the leads aren't good, the leads are weak. But know that you need to skill up, you need to level up, you need to focus on the sales game. You gotta put time, effort into training, getting better, practicing scripts, role playing, upcoming objections, trying to navigate, take that client through your sales process, nurturing them, following up with them, staying top of mind, staying relevant. So the good thing is that, if you just are a great marketer, you don't need that many good sales skills. But if you're a great salesperson, but you suck at marketing, then it's gonna be harder for you because, you can close anybody. But if you're only talking to 1 or 2 people, but as a good marketer, you're talking to 100, 200 people, then your sales skills can be lower and you can have a higher conversion. So, the smartest businesses, they got to use both. Don't rely on one. That's why we like to do omnipresence, omni-channel marketing to make sure that we are everywhere when it comes to helping you get in front of your ideal audience. So outbound can help you guys create immediate opportunities. You're picking up the phone, you're already face to face, you're setting up a follow-up meeting, a follow-up, conversation, and then inbound helps you to build long-term authority and attract higher end clients for you. So one's about activity, one's about budget. Outbound gets you moving, gets you into action, motion, while inbound helps you to scale on a mass level, you know, and grow your business. So if you want to grow your business, you gotta first ask yourself, what do I have more of right now? Is it time or is it money? Because that determines your marketing path. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, there's still some form of marketing that you can do to grow your business. We can have a sit down talk and see exactly where you're at. What can you be doing? What should you be doing? And what's the next step from there? So if you have time, go outbound. If you have money, build inbound. And if you want to grow the fastest, learn how to use both to grow your business. And we can show you how. So if you want to help building the right marketing system for your business, whether it's inbound, outbound, or both, reach out to us here at Swing High Marketing. We'd love to jump on a call with you, get to analyze your business, see where you're at, see what's working, what's not, and what you need in order to help you get you to that next level. So this was Marketing Mondays. Feel free to put any comments, questions in the chat down below in the comment section. That way I can go ahead and answer whatever it is that you guys have questions about, even topic ideas, things you want to learn more about. I kind of have like a little database of, podcast topics, but always open to be able to share more things with you guys and see what your feedback is. So thank you for spending this time here with me. Make sure you guys hit that like button on this episode. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'm going to be putting out more content for you guys to be able to consume and buy in when it comes to the framework, mentality, the structure, the strategy, because you have to, like I said, commit to this. You got to go all in, stay focused, lock in, and we can make it happen. You just got to have the right team, the right people around you, and we can be that marketing growth partner for you. And we're not just here to do a one and done campaign. We're here to help you grow and scale and build and help you guys get to that next level. If you're at 6 figures, how do we get you to 7 figures? If you're at 7 figures, how do we get you to 8 and then to 9 figures? So it's all about big picture, but we got to hit daily targets, the small targets to hit the big goals that you have for your business. So let's make it work. Let's connect. Let's just see what we can do for you. How can we help? How can we make it work? We have different financing options. If it comes down to money, there's different financing options that we can do. Help you guys get started and then help you guys build the right system, build the right lead engine machine. So we make sure that this pays for itself many times over. So thank you for watching this show, Marketing Mondays, here on the Soaring High Podcast Network. Subscribe to the channel, tell your best friend, tell your mama about us and how we help you grow your business. Take it from your little idea, in your bedroom, in your dorm room, get you out of into the big leagues, get you building a big business. So anything we can do for you, please let me know. I'd love to connect, I'd love to work with you, and let's go out there, let's make it happen, and let's go on to the next show. Stay in touch. God bless.